This futuristic and thrilling story begins with a prisoner named Marcus, who has been imprisoned for committing serious crimes. The worst part is that Marcus is scheduled to be executed the very next day. This is the government's decision. He must pay the price for his crimes. When Marcus learns about this, he completely loses hope. He doesn't believe he has any chance of survival. But suddenly, a woman named Serena arrives in the prison. Serena is actually a high-ranking member of a private organization, and she wants to talk to Marcus about something important. When they meet, Serena tells Marcus straight up, "You will be executed tomorrow. But if you agree, our private organization would like to use your body after death for a series of genetic experiments. These experiments are meant to benefit humanity and could lead to major advancements for all of us." Marcus starts thinking seriously about this offer. In the end, he decides to accept it. After all, if his body can help someone after he's gone, that's worth something. So he gives his permission. Shortly after, following all official procedures, Marcus is transferred to the private organization's facility. He is restrained properly, and many investigators and scientists are present, ready to begin the experiments. Marcus has accepted his fate and is ready. Suddenly, the scientists inject a serum into his body. The serum makes his body feel extremely light. Within moments, Marcus dies. But then, without delay, the scientists begin injecting secret types of serums into his body. Serums that no one really understands. These are the very compounds meant to bring about genetic changes in Marcus's body. Perhaps one day Marcus might come back to life. But for now, it remains a mystery what truly happened to him. This private organization specializes in such experiments, genetic manipulation on humans to evolve them into new species. Years pass. The story now shifts to a team of soldiers, led by a man named John. John is on a mission to destroy the base of Skynet, a rogue private organization. Skynet was infamous for conducting illegal experiments and had developed several advanced robots that could pose a massive threat to humanity. These robots were actually created using human bodies, manipulated through unauthorized experiments. To stop all of this, John and his team launch an assault on the Skynet base. As they move inside, they find many dead human bodies, clear evidence that Skynet has no mercy for humans. Many people had been experimented on, and those who didn't survive the process were simply killed. Skynet didn't value human life at all. John and his team begin gathering as much evidence as they can. They find experimental data files from Skynet and start recovering and collecting them. But suddenly, from above, a robot known as a Terminator arrives. This robot was one of Skynet's creations, a deadly series known as T-Series. Skynet had already created several such killer machines. This particular Terminator starts attacking the soldiers, killing many of them. When John finds out, he rushes to the upper level. He plans to take down the robot from a helicopter, continuously firing from above. But just as John boards the helicopter, the Terminator strikes. The chopper is severely damaged and crashes to the ground. John somehow survives the crash and tries to escape the robot, which is far more powerful than him. Still, as the robot approaches, John unleashes a barrage of machine gun fire straight at it. After an intense barrage of gunfire, the Terminator robot was finally blown to pieces, completely deactivated and destroyed. John narrowly escapes with his life, and soon gathers with the remaining survivors of his team. They collect all the data they had recovered and begin moving out. But suddenly, someone is seen emerging from the rubble, and it's none other than Marcus himself, the man who had been subjected to years of experiments. Marcus can't believe he's alive. Of course, when he was first taken in by the organization for experiments, it was during the previous century. But even after so many years, his body hasn't aged or changed in any noticeable way. He can't understand how that's possible. Currently, Marcus is deeply confused and starts screaming in frustration, desperate to know what was done to him. He quickly finds some clothes, cleans himself up, and starts moving forward. Eventually, he finds a path that leads to California, so he follows it. But as Marcus arrives, what he sees shocks him to the core. The entire area is in ruins, devastated beyond recognition. He had never imagined such a level of destruction, not even in his worst nightmares. Now Marcus was hoping to find someone he could talk to, someone who could explain the situation around him. As he walked forward, he suddenly heard a noise and saw someone ahead. Without thinking, Marcus began calling out to them. But when we see a close-up shot, it turns out it's not a human. It's a robot. And as soon as the robot notices Marcus, it starts firing at him with a machine gun. Marcus would have died right there. But at the last moment, another man arrives and pushes Marcus out of the way, saving his life. This man's name is Kyle Reese, the very person the senior had mentioned earlier, the #1 target on Skynet's hit list. Kyle Reese is accompanied by a little girl named Star. Together, they help Marcus and take him to their hidden shelter. The outside world had become extremely dangerous. Wandering around alone was practically a death wish. They bring Marcus to a safe place, where he can finally relax. Kyle then explains everything to him. How many years have passed? When Marcus was first brought in for experiments, it was during the 21st century, but now he's awakened in the 22nd century. According to Kyle, all of this is Skynet's doing. Even though many of their bases have been destroyed, they had already activated a number of robots, programmed to take over humanity in the future. Kyle then tells Marcus about a man named John, who is leading the resistance against Skynet. John has been destroying their robots and sabotaging their plan. Marcus agrees, and the next day, all three of them begin their journey. They reach a deserted area filled with damaged vehicles. But Marcus, with his new tech-savvy mind, begins examining one of the cars. He tweaks the wires, reconfigures some parts, and soon gets it running again. The car is now ready to go. Marcus quickly gets in, along with Kyle and Star, and they begin driving down through the hills. The three of them hope that once they reach the safe zone, they won't have to worry anymore. While traveling, they arrive near a gas station. After getting out at the gas station, the group is met by a resistance team, fighters who strictly follow John's instructions and keep themselves well protected. When Kyle Reese, Star, and Marcus arrive, they immediately inform the team that they are followers of John. They explain that John had shared some coordinates which led them to this place. The resistance members were just about to accept Kyle Reese into their fold when suddenly, a massive robot arrives. It had tracked Kyle's location. Thanks to the scan from the drone earlier, this giant machine was created by Skynet and was called a harvester. The harvester was enormous, capable of eliminating even the largest of human groups in seconds. It attacks the entire gas station, unleashing chaos and destruction in all directions. It crushes and annihilates anyone in its path. Despite people trying to escape, the harvester's advanced scanning system allows it to locate every single person. There's nowhere to hide. Marcus and Kyle Reese are shocked and overwhelmed, but they realize they have to destroy the harvester somehow. They come up with a plan. If they could lure the harvester near the gas station and set it on fire, the resulting explosion might destroy it. They both understand the plan well and jump into a truck, using it to bait the robot. The harvester chases after them, all the while firing weapons in their direction. As the attacks intensify, the moment comes when the harvester is right beside the gas station. Marcus seizes the opportunity and sets the place on fire. In an instant, there's a massive explosion. The harvester is engulfed in flames, and everyone believes it has been destroyed. But suddenly, from the skies, more Skynet robots and flying carriers arrive. These aerial units quickly capture Kyle Reese and Star, locking them inside a truck with other captured humans. Despite all his efforts, Marcus fails to save them. The Skynet carriers begin transporting the prisoners to their facilities. It appears they'll all be killed, but meanwhile, John and a few of his companions have been watching everything. John already suspected that Skynet was kidnapping people, so he quickly sends 2 fighter jets to intercept the carriers. The jets begin firing upon the flying carriers, attempting to rescue the captives. They have no choice but to destroy the robots and bring the people back safely. However, Skynet's aerial tech is also highly advanced. In the heat of battle, the enemy shoots down one of the jets, while the second one malfunctions and begins spiraling toward the ground. Despite trying so hard, they still fail to save Kyle Reese and Star from being captured. Meanwhile, Marcus has managed to reach Skynet's main base headquarters by any means possible. The area is heavily guarded and some drones spot him. But when they scan Marcus, they mistake him for one of their own Terminators, so they allow him to enter without resistance. Marcus continues deeper inside until he reaches the control room, where he begins trying to shut down the systems. But just then, a video of a woman appears on the screen. It's Serena. She congratulates Marcus for doing such an excellent job. Marcus is confused. "What job are you talking about?" he asks. That's when Serena reveals the shocking truth. Since the moment Marcus was activated, he's unknowingly been following Skynet's mission protocols. She tells him that he helped identify Kyle Reese and even misled the resistance by transmitting fake frequencies, causing confusion. She adds that very soon, John Connor and his team will be arriving at the base, and they're all walking into a trap. They're gonna die. Marcus is stunned and confused. He had believed all along that he was acting on his own free will. "How can they be controlling me like this?" He wonders in shock. Meanwhile, we see that John's senior commanders, who were on board a submarine, had located one of Skynet's bases and attempted to fire on it. But what they didn't know was that this was all part of Skynet's plan. Skynet had deliberately broadcast a false location. The moment the commanders fired the missile, Skynet hacked into their system and rerouted the missile to strike their own submarine. A huge explosion occurs, and none of John's senior officers survive. They're all killed in the blast. Back on land, John sneaks into Skynet's main headquarters by himself. He manages to hack their systems and starts freeing the prisoners one by one. Everything seems to be going smoothly until the terrifying T-Robot appears. This is Skynet's most advanced model yet, the very one John had warned about. He had said that this robot would automatically activate at a certain point. All of Skynet's advanced robots are built in the same terrifying design. The T-Robot charges toward John, ready to kill. John quickly fires a missile at it. The outer skin of the robot burns away, revealing the deadly Terminator skeleton inside. It now comes at John with full aggression. Just when things seem hopeless, Marcus arrives. Marcus is determined to save John, and immediately engages in a fight with the T-Robot. Of course, Marcus has the ability to fight such machines since he himself is half robot. But the T-Robot is incredibly powerful. It begins slamming Marcus to the ground again and again. Amidst all the chaos, John finally got a chance. As he reached another section of the facility, he spotted the fuel cells used inside the robot. He realized that these fuel cells could work like mini nuclear bombs. So, he quickly fitted explosives near them to create a chain reaction. If they detonated, the entire Skynet base would be destroyed. While John was setting up the bombs, Marcus was still fiercely battling the T-Robot. At one point, the robot realized that Marcus wasn't entirely machine. He had a real, beating human heart. The T-Robot immediately targeted it, striking Marcus directly in the chest and knocking him unconscious. John couldn't let Marcus die like this. Rushing to his side, John tried to revive him using electric shocks. After multiple attempts, Marcus finally regained consciousness. But before they could react further, the T-Robot struck again, this time impaling John with a sharp weapon, causing him to collapse and lose consciousness. Now furious and fully awakened, Marcus grabbed the same weapon and, in one swift and powerful move, smashed the T-Robot's head, destroying it completely. With John badly injured, Marcus quickly lifted him and escaped the facility with the other survivors. Soon after, the bombs planted near the fuel cells began to detonate, setting off a massive chain reaction. The explosion was so intense that the entire Skynet base was obliterated. Everyone was rescued safely, and by morning we see John's team regrouped at their base camp. But John's condition was critical. He had taken a serious hit to his heart and wouldn't survive much longer. When Marcus learned of this, he made a powerful decision. He walked straight to the medics and told them, "I don't need my body anymore. I've already been struggling with my life. Use my heart. Save John." Everyone, including Kyle, Star, and the others, agreed to this emotional sacrifice. As Marcus's heart was removed and transplanted into John, his vision began to blur. His life slowly faded, as his heart now beat inside John's chest. And with that powerful sacrifice, our story comes to an end.